What up, smart rappers? Today we're talking about how do you know if the song you have is a hit song or not. It's a couple questions you have to ask yourself, and once you ask them, you'll really know the answer. I'm Rob Level, this is smartrapper.com, and we're gonna get into it right after the intro.
I see the bigger picture, the fear in their eyes from other rappers who be rapping just to tell us a lie.
Alright, smart rapper, listen up here. These are gonna be questions that you actually really have to ask yourself, and don't lie to yourself when you ask yourself these questions. If you have a hit song, you really know you have a hit song, okay? And if you've seen the Trap Queen video, the Fetty Wap video we talked about, where Fetty Wap was like, everybody around him was like, yo, this is it. Like, people around you have to be telling you this is it. You can't just be telling yourself, I got a hit, like I know it's a hit. That's not gonna count, because if it's a hit, everyone around you knows it's a hit, and they're pushing you, pressuring you to make sure that you frickin' get that thing out there, okay? So let's go over these questions that you can ask yourself to know if your song is going to actually be a hit, or actually has the chances of being a hit if you do enough marketing to get it moving, all right? Let's go through these. Now, there's different kinds of songs, but in general, you gotta ask yourself this for number one. Can you imagine, can you actually hear and see people bumping your song at parties and anywhere else that people would hang out? Can you see them actually doing that? Can you see them playing your song? And I'm not talking about doing affirmations and envisioning yourself like seeing them playing your song and stuff like that. Like, would they actually turn it on? Can people vibe to your song where they would play it at a party and be like, yeah, oh, what is that? And then people would actually have a reaction to it. Okay, can they? Would they do that to your song? If not, chances are, probably not a hit. Look at all the songs that have come out. Like, look at any song that's popular right now. Chances are you would hear it at a party. Right? Think about that. Number two, and this is very important.
Whoa.
Can you see the club playing it? Because if your record can play at the club, that is where it's going to start moving, because so many people go to clubs. If DJs at clubs are playing your record, your stuff is getting heard by 1,000 people a night at every club in America. If every club is playing your record, that's how records move and stay really moving around, is when DJs are playing them at clubs. You got the radio, you got the clubs, you got strip clubs, you got parties. Like, if people can't play your song in public, it has a lower likelihood of being shared as easily. Think about that, because most people don't think about that. I didn't think about that forever. I'm like, wait a minute. Yeah, people need to be able to play this at a party or at a club, because if they can't, it's not going to be able to stay as relevant. That's a really good tip there. Think about that. Like, think about all the Drake records. If you go to the club, you go to bars, they're not playing like certain, like the bigger Drake records. Like, think about that. Or anything that's really relevant, they're playing that stuff. You know what I'm saying? The Chance the Rapper records. It just depends. Like, I don't know when you're going to watch this video, but anything that's relevant or current right now, they're playing that at the club right now. Okay? And now some of your records, I take this into account though, sometimes your record is a slower record. It's like a certain type of record, but it can also be remixed into an EDM version or a different version that's more club friendly, because a hit song can be converted into a club friendly hit song. Yeah. It's different types of hit songs, right? Well, that's a different conversation. But let's move on to number three. Now, if your record cannot play on the radio, if it's not current, if it doesn't sound like what is currently out there, like different but still unique, it has to have a little bit of something that people have heard before. It has to be something that makes them feel like, I know this, I felt this before, but still be unique. And there's a book I'm reading right now called Hitmakers. And that's actually what the entire book is about. It says that if anything, you want a thing to be a hit and really become a hit song or a hit movie, it has to sound and feel like something else, while also having its own uniqueness to it. And that's really interesting, because as soon as I started reading the book, I was like, I kind of already knew this, but it really pinpoints that. And I started looking at a lot of records, like that new Macklemore record that just released. Is like, I'm riding around town. The song is actually straight jacked from the Broccoli song. I think it's a Broccoli song, and then he has Lil Yachty on the song, because it's the same thing as a Lil Yachty song, and then he's doing a flow that is like, sounds like identical to Lil Wayne, including the auto-tuning. It's like every piece of it is stolen, but it's now going to be a big song. It had like 5 million views in a day, and they put Lil Yachty on it because he's super popular. Now that record's going to frickin' move. That thing is going to get to 250 million views, like, for sure, because of the way that everything sounds so familiar. It's not even Macklemore. It's like completely jacked from a bunch of different artists and pieced together. And I'm actually gonna make a whole video on that, because there's a whole bunch of songs that I recognize and realize why that stuff works. And that's kind of messed up, but if it works, it works. And that's why you'll see a lot of people sampling records from things that already sounded familiar to people and putting those in. We're gonna talk about that. We're gonna talk about that in a different video though, because it's actually a really cool process, and I'm gonna go a lot deeper into the psychology behind it. But let's move on. Number 4, can you imagine people bumping it in their cars? Can you drive around in your car and blast this out the windows? Come on, you know it. Any song that you love, you drive around, you blast that thing at some point, right? If you can't hear people doing that, chances are it's not a hit song. And number 5, and the most important key, the thing that you know it's going to be a hot song or a hit song is when you play the record for anybody. Do they ask you to play the song again? Do they say, can you play that again? If they don't ask you to play it again, wasn't catchy enough. Was it the chance of it being a hit? No, because the first time you play somebody of those records, like I've had a couple records like that, but there's 2 records I know for sure. When I played it, everybody's like, yo, can I hear that again? And then when it's over, they're like, can you play that again, right? And anyway, that's again another conversation. But if they ask you to play it again, don't make them, don't say, hey, you want to play it again? They have to request that you play it again. And if they do, it's a good sign, all right? I'm Rob Level, this is SmartRapper.com. Please remember to subscribe and hit that bell after you hit the subscribe, and that'll notify you every time I release a video, because I release a video every single day to make you a smarter rapper. So if you want to be a smarter rapper, subscribe and hit that bell. Hit me with a comment on anything that I said here. What do you think about all this? Like the Hitmakers thing is pretty cool, right? We're gonna get into that another time, but check out that book. That's why I read a lot of books, because you're always consistently learning, you're always consuming more knowledge, you're always able to apply it to your career. And that's why I recommend you go and check out books to become a smarter rapper in all ways. All right, hit that like button. I'm gonna see you guys tomorrow on SmartRapper.com. Here's some more videos.